Let's take a look at another use of a subquery inside of a where clause. This time around, we're going to be making use of an operator that we've not used before to do our comparison. The goal here is to show the name, department, and price of all the different products that are more expensive than all of the products in the industrial department. Let's first get started by walking through a solution with this little sample data set right here. So we would first want to find all the products in the industrial department. It looks like that's just 4 and 5 right here. They are both inside of industrial. So I'm going to pull those two out, like so. We're then going to go through all the remaining rows and make sure that they have a price that is greater than the price of 328 and 796. So we'll start off first with the first product right here as a price of 876. That is definitely greater than both 796 and 328. So the first product would stick around. The second one has a price of 412, which is not greater than all these different values. So we would dump that. The next one has a price of 10, definitely less than the products inside of industrial. So we'd lose that. The next one has a price of 989, which is greater than both these, so it would stay around. And then finally, 298 is less, so we would dump it. So we are left with just these two rows right here. And then we only want to see the name, department, and price. So we would delete ID and weight, and we are left with just that. All right, so that is how we would solve this question. Now that we understand how we'd solve it in kind of a diagram format, let's figure out how we would solve it with SQL instead. One way we could solve this is by doing a max aggregate function on the price of all products in industrial. So we could write out a subquery that was something like select max price from products where department equals industrial. This would absolutely work without a doubt, but for the purposes of this video, I want to show you a slightly different way of solving this. So even though we could use max here and it would be very efficient, just fantastic, we're going to look at a slightly different solution. We're going to make use of an operator that we have not seen before. So this is the same table we were looking at just a moment ago. I just adjusted some of the values a little bit just to make it a little bit more clear. So we're going to be making use of a new operator called the greater than all operator. The goal of greater than all, we're going to put in a value on the right or left-hand side over here. So that might be some price or something like that. And then greater than all is going to make sure that this price is greater than all of the values inside of a column of data. So we're essentially comparing one value, making sure it's greater than all the values inside of a column. This single column right here is going to come from some subquery that you and I are going to write. There are many different variations on greater than all, so we could do a less than all, greater than or equal to all, not equal to all, and so on. There's also a variation on this called sum. Besides sum, there's actually an alias for sum of any. So if you see sum or any, they mean the exact same thing. We'll take a look at what sum and any do in just a moment. For right now, let's just focus on all. Okay, so in this case, let's go back to our kind of original starting point here, where we had a bunch of different rows inside this table. And the first thing we needed to do was find the price of all the different products that were inside of the industrial department. So we would write out a subquery right here that was something like select price from products where department is equal to industrial. So that would give us just these two rows right here. And specifically, we are selecting only price. So we would delete all the different columns except for the price column. So notice how we are now left with one single column. Whenever we are making use of the greater than all operator, so this one right here, we need to make sure that our subquery returns a single column. And that's definitely what we're doing right here. So now we can put in an operator of greater than all. We would use this as our subquery, and everything should work as expected. So we're going to take a look at every row inside of products and make sure that each row's price is greater than all the values in this column. All right, now that we understand the theory here, let's go ahead and write out the actual query. So we would do a select name, department, and price from products where the price of the product is greater than all of the different values inside of a column that we're going to generate right here with a subquery. So I want to select the price from products. Oh, spelling error there, products, where department is equal to industrial. And make sure you've got a capital I right here. And we should not have a semicolon at the very end of that line. We should only have a semicolon at the end of the overall query. Okay, so let's now run this. And now in theory, all of these different products right here are more expensive than all the products inside of industrial. And just doing a visual inspection, yep, looks like we got it right. The last thing I want to mention here, just one more time, yes, we could have done a max. We could have found the max price and then done a comparison without all. I just want to show you a slightly different way of going about this. Okay, so once again, greater than all, less than all those different variations. We're going to write out a subquery that's going to return a single column. And then we're only going to get past this check if some value, such as price, just as an example, is greater than all the different values listed inside that subcolumn, or less than all, or greater than or equal to all, and so on. Okay, let's take a pause here and take a look at this last other operator in just a moment.